Hello, hello, hello. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Hypocritical AF podcast. If this is your first time tapping in, thank you very much. I'm your host, Albert Fig, and welcome to the Hypocritical AF podcast based out of Sacramento, California. What up? Man, I got to tell you, like I usually say but most of the solo episodes, I always say how busy I am. And this is another example in another week of talking about how busy I am. This episode, again, like my last solo one, is coming out at a later than normal date. You know, usually we put these out every single Wednesday night, 7 p.m. on the dot to be exact. But there are times where I would say scheduling wise or just life wise, I'm not able to get it done at that deadline. And I'm either having to push it back Thursday, but then I always feel like Thursdays, even if I get it done or when I'm supposed to and everything, or past that, I still feel weird about pushing it out on Thursdays for whatever reason. I don't know exactly why. So instead, I'll do Friday mornings, Friday nights, or something like that. So hence why this is coming out Friday morning. And I want to say the other solo one, I think that one was Friday night, if I want to be exact, or something like that. But I don't know why. It's just like, to kind of compare it, but I used to know this person who hated when things landed on odd numbers. So they would want things to be on 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 5, 10s, et cetera, et cetera. So whatever that would be. So whether it was on a radio, adjusting the volumes, they would prefer if it would land it on that type of number in fives. Or if it was a channel, that it had to, land in fives. If it was, I don't know, insert whatever you think, whatever number it was, it had to be in the fives. Why that is, I don't know. Maybe that's some OCD type stuff. And I'm not here to judge because I don't think I have OCD, but I don't know what that's like. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, but it's like a weird thing like that for me. Like I had to, Wednesdays, it's always been set Wednesdays. And now for it to be, pushed back later, Fridays, I don't know, for whatever reason, I feel like they're going to be more digestible or kind of hit better. And it's more of a better thing to be on a Friday. I'm still figuring out the whole day and night type of thing. Because if y'all remember, if y'all are true fans of this podcast, you would know that they used to come out Wednesday mornings at 7 a.m. And then I switched it. I started switching to Wednesdays, 7 p.m. And I did like a trial run initially to kind of test the waters to see, you know what I'm saying? And the reason why I did that too, I don't know if I ever broke it down right here or not, but I found that a lot of the most successful, well, I'm not going to say most, but more of these successful podcasts were dropping at nights. And a lot of them never really gave reasoning behind them. You know what I'm saying? Because usually they have like a data team or some type of team, like I said, that looks at analytics and stuff like that. So I could see why, if it's more successful to do it at night, hey, then I'm going to follow suit because, obviously they're doing the right things and doing things as they should. So I was like, okay, what's the reasoning behind here? And a lot of them would do premieres. A lot of them would do, as far as YouTube goes, premiering with the countdown and premiering now and premiering live, so you can able to watch the episode live but along with everybody else who's watching it, So I saw that they were dropping them at night and I was like, what is there? There must be something there, right? For the reason why they're dropping it at night. So then I was like, okay, maybe it's a fluke. Let me try other ones. Maybe that's just the one that's going right there. Maybe there's just another one that's out there. So I was like, let me look at other ones. And sure enough, I was looking at the other podcasts and they were dropping them at night as well. Mind you too, there's still East Coast, West Coast, Mountain Time and all these other things, right? But I noticed the correlation in between them were dropping at night. So then I started thinking about it. Okay, if I drop it in the morning, not a lot of people will wake up right away and go straight to podcast. Some do. I'm saying not all of them, right? So the way I looked at it was like, all right, nighttime, when are the most where people are in? And I'm not saying I'm like the genius here. I'm not saying that I'm the one that thought about this. This is just the way I thought of it, and I'm assuming that's how they thought of it too. And maybe that's why they dropped it at night. But if you drop it at night, right, the theory or the thought process, again, this is just me. I don't know for sure. But the thought process is at night, everybody's done for the day, whether it's work, schooling, working out, whatever. People are usually home and are just going to be laying there. So if you put it out at night, that's when you'll be able to get the most eyeballs as far as getting it done. And it's still a win-win situation because there's still the morning. Like even for the people that aren't able to catch it at night, you know what I'm saying? I'm adjusting my beanie. I'm just seeing it right now and it's kind of looks like crap. But for the ones that's only on YouTube if you guys are checking them out. But if the ones that don't watch it at night or, missed it, can still watch it the very next morning. So let's just say they fell asleep and they're like, oh shit, I didn't see that I was out. Well, when they wake up, they could see that the episode is available there in the morning. So it's like a win-win situation, if you're trying to get the most eyeballs or, most listens or, most whatever. So that was like my thought process behind that and why I switched it. And initially, I just was doing a test run. Like I was just trying to see, 2 months. Let me just see how this goes and see if it makes like a major difference. And let me just see if if the people notice, and obviously, this doesn't have the biggest audience. So not like anybody really noticed. And I kind of just started, just doing it like that at nighttime. And it felt like it works out better too. Also, it was beneficial more for me on my end as far as editing and uploading, because there's times where it's like, dude, I got done editing. Like by the time the video gets rendered, mind you, because we record in 4K. So it's a big file size and it takes a lot to process and everything, right? So it was like, bro, there's times where it's like 3 a.m. and the video was barely done rendering and I still have to upload it to YouTube, which can take up to 2 hours depending on how long the episode is. And then by the time the video will come out, it's still processing in standard edition, but the video's out, but audio wise it's going to be the same. Not the same, but audio wise it's going to be there. So it helped out too as far as production and the value of it coming out in 4K each time. And because by the time 7 p.m. comes around, not always, but it would have, rendered at least a minimum to HD. I mean, that's like that's the hopes, So it's a win-win situation, that part. And yeah, now we're here recording at nights. And then ironically, this is going to be dropping Friday morning. Sorry, I'm just busy. And I always say that I'm busy, but bro, it's true. I was just in Santa Cruz. I was just in Monterey. I was just where was I at? Shit, where was I at today? I forget. I had just been like, going to different cities and on top of work stuff, on top of city stuff, on top of family stuff, on top of freaking just trying to get some rest and everything. I'd be forgetting, not intentionally, but I'm just like, fuck, I forgot to record. I didn't have this, especially when you don't have like a guest book. Like if I already have a guest booked, it's a lot easier to go off of that schedule because I know I have a specific date, I have a specific time. So it's pretty simple to work around that, right? As opposed to doing these solo ones, I can really just do them whenever, but it's also kind of moving around the schedule of family time, because you have to put that in just as much as you put into this. Like I always preach about, for those of you that don't know, I always say how it's important to put as much in on family time as you are putting in your career, in your extracurricular stuff, in your hobbies, in your passion, or anything that you're doing. Put as much family time, or at least the best you can do. I'm not saying, wear yourself out and exhaust your shit out until you're, operating on fumes, because you could be physically present, but not be present when it comes to family time, if that makes sense. So just try your best. You know what I'm saying? And I've just been busy with that. And on top of that, it's like, scheduling. Like thankfully, I would say I'm lucky and fortunate enough to have a good lineup coming out. There's I have this last little quarter push. I was just talking about this with Lily. I have this last little quarter push going for episode, because this episode would be episode 85. You know what I'm saying? So that means there's 15 episodes until the big 100. And I'm very excited for episode 100 because it's a personal milestone. It's definitely a goal that was not necessarily a goal from the very beginning, but a goal that developed along this journey of podcasting and starting this and creating this brand and venturing, exploring, and expanding. So initially it wasn't a part of the Rolodex, and now it's been a goal and it's planned. And like I said, we're 15 episodes away from the big hundo, and thank you all for the support and everything. And because of this last little quarter push, well, not quarter, but 15, I'm doubling down. This last 85, I've been thugging it out, yo. I've been pushing, I've been staying consistent, and I've been putting in the work. But this last 15, I'm gonna even go up a notch and still do even more as far as just getting as much people, most eyeballs, most eyeballs, most attention, and reaching out to people that I've been wanting to reach out to, but maybe was hesitant. And I'm just throwing all that shit out the window because I really want to double down on this to give it this big push, because I want to make sure once I'm at 100, I want to feel like when I reach episode 100, I want to feel like, yo, I did everything and I gave it my all. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like an early indication like this is, the end or some quits or something like that. But I want to know, I guess, get like that self-satisfaction, of being like 100, I gave it all. You know what I'm saying? So this last 15, I'm like really pushing and I'm really thriving and striving as well. And yeah, so I got this, I'm working on this crazy lineup, nothing too crazy, but like I'm working on a good lineup to, give it the best that I can. So that's what I've been busy working with on too. And I put this up, actually, I talked about it on Instagram not too long ago too, but I had said that how it is important to shoot your shot, whatever that is, whatever the case may be. If shooting your shot is asking that person out on a date or asking a person that you had a crush on, shoot your shot. Shoot your shot could be if you've been hesitant on pushing out a project, or you're hesitant on recording, if you're an artist, right? And if you're hesitant on recording a song or doing anything musically wise, shoot your shot. If you're a person that's been waiting on this job opportunity and is hesitating to leave this job and you want to venture out to here, but you're stuck with this job and you're scared and you don't know how you're going to do this and this and that, blah, 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 shoot your shot. If you're a person that's like, that says, I'm going to start on Monday with working out. No, not this week, next week. No, you know what? This week isn't really going too good. I got parties coming up. It's summertime. I'm not trying to blah, blah, blah. I'll do it next month. Shoot your shot, because you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. So the whole me saying, shoot your shot type of thing was just, it was not nodding off, but like more so like a tip of the hat to myself, because like I said, I am pushing for this last little bit, and closed mouths don't get fed. If you don't speak, people won't hear you. If you're afraid to reach out, how are you supposed to get collabs? If you don't reach out, how are you supposed to get these guests? You know what I'm saying? So I'm doing it, and some good things that I'm pretty excited for that's going to be coming out. But that's just, like I said, some little update and background into this episode and why it's coming out late and everything. And I appreciate y'all patience. You know what it is a bit, actually? You know what is a bit disheartening? I'll put out like a little update. Not necessarily disheartening. Okay, maybe that's just like maybe that's a bit of an over exaggeration. But when the episodes don't come out, I'll put a little update thing, like a little post on Instagram, stories or whatever, just essentially saying like, hey, this one's gonna be pushed out, or gonna be releasing this, or gonna be releasing that. There's not that much pushback. And then if I don't put an update, and let's say it's past the actual episode time and it doesn't drop, it's not like anybody's throwing a frenzy or throwing their hands in the air like, yo, what's going on? No one's hitting me up, be like, hey, yo, where's the episode? Now granted, everybody's busy. And it's not like it's I'm not Rihanna. You know what I'm saying? I'm not Rihanna or Kendrick and everybody's waiting on my shit to drop. It's nothing like that, so I understand that. But it is just like, damn, don't even notice, Also, I could just be playing this shit out in my head. There's probably people noticing them, but they're just like, you know, I don't know. I don't know. So if you're watching the YouTube, this looks like water. It could be mineral water. It could even be a Sprite. And I'd say that it's neither. It's neither. I'm actually drinking a cut water. Tequila Paloma. So, and the reason why I say that is because lately ever since I discovered these cut waters, I've been enjoying them. You know, it's a good mix up. Sometimes you don't want to do beer. Sometimes liquor is just a little too much, especially if, wherever you're at, they don't have the option. And sometimes the seltzers, look, Truly's, White Claws, cool and all, great, don't get me wrong. But sometimes they just don't hit, you feel me? And sometimes the White Claws just be like getting me gassy. That too much? And not from there. I mean gassy, like I'll be burping a lot, like belch, like ugh. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes if I drink too much of them, I'll straight up get like a headache. You know what I'm saying? I'm sweating. Side note on this one. I'm sweating, but I'm wearing a beanie and a hat. Doesn't even make any sense. And I got this little AC thing going. So if you hear this little hummy thing in the back, just know it's a little AC thing going, but it's still, when it's 103, it's 103. You know, AC can only work so much. You know what I'm saying? Side note on that one. But yeah, so drinking on these White Claws. A lot of people should get more on them. I feel like they don't get a lot of the credit. You know, they deserve more. And I found out that they were made in San Diego. So if you want to switch up, this isn't a sponsor. This isn't a paid ad or anything like that. But if you want to switch up, definitely recommend these. Oh, before I go any further, I would like to congratulate the Golden State Warriors, the 2021-2022 NBA champions. Shouts out to y'all. I'm not a Warriors fan. I'm a Lakers fan. It's well documented. A diehard Lakers fan at that. Specifically, favorite player of all time, Kobe Bryant, But I definitely will root for the Warriors. I'll root for the Kings if they, are playing. Unless they're playing the Lakers, then it's not even what? Like, I'm rooting for the Lakers, But shout out to the Warriors, man. I mean, 4 championships in 8 years. I want to say it's their 7th overall as a team. 7th. You know what I'm saying? 7th, I want to say. As far as the organization goes. But 4 under the Steve Kerr, Steph Curry little era, Draymond and all that stuff, So shouts out to them. Look, you gotta just, you just gotta appreciate greatness. A lot of times people the Warriors specifically, they get a lot of hate. A lot of people will be like, oh, it's the Warriors again. Outside people looking in, they're just like, the Warriors again. The Warriors are in the finals again. Oh, they're playing again. Oh, they won again. And if that's like, if you're a Warriors fan, you're not tripping. If you're a fan of basketball, you're not really tripping off it too much because it's a win-win. This is the thing I don't get. It's a win-win because you're witnessing 2 things. One, you're witnessing greatness. Like, we might not see this shit, especially the way Steph plays, and you might not get it like that. You feel me? That's number 1. And then number 2, it's exciting. No one wants to go watch an NBA Finals series play out, and that shit's boring. Like, the Warriors make that shit exciting because they can literally erupt on 30 points at any given minute. They could be down 20, and if there's 2 minutes left, okay, maybe not 2. They could be down 20 with 4 minutes left, and you could legit be like, yo, they're still in it. Like, they're just 6 threes away from it's a close game. You know what I'm saying? Like, they can do that so quick. So it's never really over with them, and it's exciting. They make the shit exciting. So as a fan of the NBA, you and the sport in general, I don't feel like you should like hate on it. You know what I'm saying? You should just be like, all right, I'm gonna tune in, Now, if you are a Warriors hater, if you dislike them, which I'm not, I don't dislike them, but I'm not a fan of the team. You know what I'm saying? Support them. Like, yo, do your thing. Bay Area, you feel me? Do your thing. But if you don't like them, I can see how you're a bit salty. Especially if they're winning at this rate that they're winning, and potentially will win, next year. Who knows? They have a legit case to win next year too. And then what are you gonna say? What are we gonna say? I don't know. I'll probably just be like, yo, Nets, get your shit together. Kyrie, are you staying with the Nets or not? Are you gonna join the Lakers? We'll take you. Dude, imagine a little swap. Hold up now. Imagine if the Lakers and the Nets do a straight up player swap. If Kyrie goes to the Lakers, links up with his former teammate LeBron James, and Westbrook gets ships out to the Nets and links up with his former teammate Kevin Durant. They both have chemistry. They both have history. They've both played the finals together. Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant in OKC 2012 when they lost in the finals against LeBron James and the Miami Heat. And then Kyrie, well, we know about the Cavaliers and him, down 3-1 to come back and win. I mean, that's a good little case. Could that happen? I don't know. Contractually, I know the Lakers don't have any picks this year, but I wonder if they can do that. I know Kyrie has a player option, right? He can opt out. And based off, if you're going back to the sport of the NBA, and if you are an NBA fan, this little debacle shit going on, or this little cluster thing going on with Kyrie, that he's already been telling the Nets, you know what I'm saying? Like, he could potentially look into playing for the Lakers, giving them a list of teams. So, I don't know. It'd be a cool little thing. You know what the fucked up part about it too is that, who gets screwed over throughout the whole thing? It's Kevin Durant. He gets screwed over. Imagine, how would you feel if you're Kevin Durant? You left the Warriors to go play with Kyrie. And then the Warriors end up winning the championship. And then your homie that you came over here for is talking about leaving the team and joining your supposed, what people say, his arch nemesis, LeBron. Can you imagine that? That's a storybook. But again, this is me just off the rip shooting some shit. I don't know if it's actually going to go down. I don't know who knows with Kyrie. That man is so good, bro. He's so fucking talented. He's so good that he's unpredictable. And that's actually a good way to describe how he plays on the court. Unpredictable. You don't know what he's going to do. That man has a bag. He can go into his bag of arsenals and tools that he can use. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's why all this is crazy. Maybe that's why. But anyway, enough of the NBA talk. So what I wanted to get into a little bit, and what I wanted to reference and talk about and give my little 2 cents on, is I wanted to shed some light into the importance of doing things behind closed doors and not getting the recognition for it. Maybe not that way, but doing things without caring to get the recognition for it. And I'll expand upon that and clarify more, right? So if I'm being introduced to people and we're in certain circles or we're in scenarios where I feel like I can help a person out and or they could benefit off of the information that I'm receiving, I'm going to throw his or her name into this conversation and be like, you know what? I know a person who can do this. Oh, hey, you know what? You are in this field or in this category. You should check out so-and-so. Hey, you do this. You know who would be a really good fit for this? Or you know who you would mesh well with? Or you know what? I'm a fan of both of you. What about this? Those are the type of shit I'd be doing behind closed doors. And it's a lot of it is stemming from, considering this like a podcast family. and networking. Anybody that's been involved or supported or has, helped out or has been anything to do with the podcast, I consider them podcast, not just podcast fan, but I consider this a family thing. And so if I can help them out in any type of way without even, getting the recognition, I'm still going to do it, because to me, it's not about the recognition. It's about showing the love and the support on and off camera. Right. So I'll do those type of things. Another thing is being there for the times where they are doing stuff. So for example, if I have an artist on the podcast and I see that they're doing a showcasing, if I see that they're doing a performance, if I see that they're going to be doing something big, and just because it's on your scale, it's not your definition of big, doesn't mean it's not big to them. That's the difference, right? So just because they're not performing at the Golden One Arena doesn't mean it's not big to them. If they're performing at a cafe with 10 people, that's still a performance. That performance might be big to them. So when they're doing stuff like that, and they've been on the podcast before, or if they're just a friend forget the podcast stuff. If I consider them a friend, I'm going to be there and go show support. If they're doing an open mic on a Thursday night and no one else has showed up but me several times, I'm going to do that, because that's my way of showing support to the homies or to the friends and to people I consider the fam. I'm going to do those type of things, close doors, whether you get the recognition or not. If you see them starting a business, starting a brand, launching merch, taking a leap of faith on themselves and, doing something that's breaking the mold or, outside the box, or just doing something independently, show your support. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that and help out in any way that I can. You know what I'm saying? And the importance in that is, and a lesson to be learned in that is, don't get, and I'm not saying this is happening to me, this isn't me, but I've heard of people thinking like this and talking about it like this, which is like, just because the person doesn't publicly, meaning like on social media, give me your flowers, just because a person on social media is not thanking you and posting you and everything, doesn't mean that they're not thankful. Don't take it personal, yo. If you're helping out, do it from the goodness of your help. If you're showing support, do it from the goodness of wanting to show support, rather than only showing support in hopes that they post you on Instagram or post you on Twitter, post you on TikTok. That's not the right way of doing things. The right way of doing things is showing your support out of the straight up goodness in your heart. So do it for that. Don't do it for the clout, as the younger folks would say, the clout, no cap, but it is important to do those type of things, and if you have an opportunity behind closed doors to expand a person's brand, to help this merch, help this independency of a person doing something, and it costs nothing to do, by the way. And if you have those opportunities to help a person out, do that. One of the most important posts I've ever seen or heard a person say was that it costs $0.00 to support. Think about that and let that sink in for a little bit. It costs $0.00 to support. Now, whether that be the form of resharing a post, in the form of liking something on social media, cool, that's one way. But one way that you could show support is actually using the products, the stuff that they're pushing out, actually listening, and even if you can, paying for stuff to help. You know what I'm saying? If you have a friend and you are genuinely supporting them, don't just straight up be like, send me merch and ask for stuff for free. That's not really supporting them, Well, Not that it's not supporting them. You're not really supporting what they're doing. It's a business, right? So buy the merch. If you have a friend who's an artist and they put out a new project and you have an option to stream versus buy, by all means, stream it. But if you have the option to buy an album, buy the album. And if you can, buy the album and stream. You could do that and it doesn't cost you anything, assuming you have streaming services. Check out their stuff on YouTube. If you have a friend who's starting an independent business, go show your support by actually buying the product. If you have a friend who is opening an online business, do these two things. Share it, put it in a group chat, post it, and buy the stuff online. Show the real support. You know what I'm saying? Like I say that because I'm seeing too much of people doing postings and not too much actions behind them. You know what I'm saying? Show your support. And I'm telling you, with talks with people who are in those spaces and a person like myself who plans to be in those spaces, those type of actual support goes a long way and it really does help them. You know, I'm in that not right now necessarily, but I plan on doing those type of things. I'm not there just yet, just like this podcast. It's not there yet. You know what I'm saying? But it will be. And the stuff that I'm doing behind closed doors doesn't need to be publicized or highlighted. Like they say, you know, grind in the dark, let the fruits from your labor reap in the light. Maybe it's not written or said exactly like that. And maybe I butchered it, and that's okay because you get the point that I'm trying to make. The stuff that I'm doing behind closed doors, I don't really need to post about it or say this about this. One, because I don't want to jinx the shit. I'll be honest too. I just feel like shit can go south if I, speak too soon about it. But two, I'd rather show you. Actually, that's just it. I would much rather just show you rather than just to speak about it. A lot of times when you see the outcome for stuff, it was a process that went into it and it took time, just like this other future stuff I got going on. I'd rather just show you when it comes out. And then after it comes out in some time, maybe I'll do some behind the scenes type of stuff. I like to record stuff. So maybe in that, then I can talk about it and can show you about those type of things. But it's the support that we as, and I say we because I'm a group of saw, and I'm not saying I'm all these. I'm definitely not an artist, but we as creators, we as entrepreneurs, we as artists, we as anything that falls into that realm or in that bubble that we'd appreciate, So show more support to people. Be more kind to people. You don't got to be a dick. Don't be rude. You know what I'm saying? If you don't like something, cool. Push along, move it through. You don't have to not like something, shit on something, and then clown on it and then move on with your day. Because it's like, what is your product? What is your music? What is something that you're pushing? Show me what you got going on. Again, not speaking for me necessarily, but think about the others. Support one another. This Cutwater is getting really warm. Just like the temperature here in Sacramento, this shit's rising. But anyway, we'll cap up with that. Just show more support, y'all. Help out others. Be kind. Don't be a dick. Don't be rude. And be on the lookout for more stuff that's coming through. And if you enjoy this podcasting stuff, and, this is a solo one, so these are generally, sure, I always get those two confused. If you're a first-time listener or you're just tuning in, you've lasted this long, thank you. But they're a bit different from the solo ones and the guest ones. Generally, there I go again. With the solo ones, I don't go on long rants. I don't make it a long episode, or I try not to at least, because this isn't a specific niche podcast, right? I wouldn't label this specifically as sports. I wouldn't label this specifically as drama, true crime, or comedy. There's not a specific niche that I go into, which I understand that it also goes against the grain of podcasting. A lot of stuff is that they'll tell you, and you can look up, you can research this. A lot of podcast experts and and advice that you might get, and guides would say, find your niche, So this is a bit of against the grain on that one. So because I don't have a specific niche, I kind of just go on and talk about life stuff, behind the scenes stuff that's been going on, my opinions on a few things, what I'm feeling for the day, what I was feeling for the week. And I keep them kind of short because I don't want to waste your guys' time. To be honest, I don't want to waste your guys' time. And if I can get you entertained and lock you in with this, my hopes is that maybe this will lock you in for next week. My hopes is that you can go into a deep dive and check out other episodes. My hopes is that you can find a guest, an episode that you like, and all of a sudden you become a fan of the guest that I have on, and then you're following them. I had most recent, a couple times actually, I had a lot of feel-good moments. I've had a lot of feel-good moments so far. I do that. When I bring a person on, it's because I genuinely want to, not even want to, but when I have a person on, it's because I'm interested in their journey. I'm interested in a conversation with them. I'm interested in their background. I'm interested to hear about what they're doing, what they're pushing out, or I feel like they have a lot to offer and people could benefit from. And one of the many gratifying moments that I get are when people tell me they tune into an episode and they like this guest, and all of a sudden they're following them, and now they are reaching out to them for some stuff. If I have a realtor on and I find out that they've got potential new clients or already new clients going into them based off the podcast, that's a win. It's a win for all of us. If I have an artist that's coming on and he or she is opening up and talking about more of life outside of music, or, putting more stuff on their personality, and they're gaining a new fan, that's a win for it. If I have a guest on who is talking about a traumatic experience that they've had, or they had to go through something like that, and they get a following from that, and they're showing that people are showing support, that's a win. You know what I'm saying? So those type of things are gratifying for sure. And it's a big window of opportunities. And like I said, it's the podcast stuff. It's all about the journey and being interested in talking to people and wanting to help out. You know what I'm saying? And that's the essence of Hypocritical AF. So cheers to y'all. Cut water. Tequila Paloma. Sorry this episode's coming out Friday morning, but thank y'all for staying patient. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for the support. And as always, y'all stay safe. Peace.